Could I ask you guys to introduce yourselves? You're the team here today.
Hi, I'm Cleo Watkin and I live here in Crosshaven.
I'm Barry Hayes. I'm originally from Skull, but I now live in Crosshaven and I own the factory.
And we have a little helper sat there between your feet.
This is Layla, who's always helping us.
She looks very helpful.
She is very helpful, yeah.
And when did you take over the factory, Barry?
3 years ago, myself and my wife Claire, who are the owners, we took over 3 years ago.
Excellent. How's it been those 3 years? Learning curve?
Absolutely wonderful, and we really love it.
It's marvellous. And so you actually physically moved here and set up the business at the same time, or you were already established in Crosshaven for a while?
No, I moved back from Hong Kong. I used to be the production manager for UK cell makers in Hong Kong, and I took over the business from Des when Des retired. Des McWilliam.
And tell me, of all the different projects that you do here, there are many, tell me what would be your most enjoyable? What do you enjoy doing?
Well, I do the repairs, but I like doing repairs because every sale is different and the repair, the hole or the rip is different on every sale, so that's what I get enjoyment out of doing.
The challenge?
The challenge, yes, yeah.
Fantastic. Barry,
And
you got a favourite?
I like working on new projects, like so if there's a new boat or if there's a new build of a boat, I like, working on it from the ground up and all the different aspects of it, like so say a J121 or a new XP44, I like the whole project, the build and making all the sails right and making the boat work to its best.
And then I suppose that also involves liaising with the customer and what their needs and wants are and what their goals are.
Yeah, especially, and the crew, more to the point, is, the abilities of the crew and how they work and everything like that.
Brilliant. Cleo, you do a lot of the repairs here, all of the repairs. So tell me, do you have any advice for sailors with regards to maintaining their sails?
Well, the most important thing is that customers should really get their sails serviced every year. And the most important thing is on your roller head sail, the ultraviolet strip really needs to be sewn once a year. When it's not, the UV strip, the ultraviolet strip will start lifting and then you have a bigger tendency for the sail to actually rip a bit more.
That's a good sound advice and very simple advice. Thank you very much indeed.
No problem.
What are we working on here today?
A customer sale in from Carrigaline that he's just brought in his mainsail and roller head sail for checking over and servicing. A few stitching here and there that needs to be done, and it's not a huge amount of money to service them every year.
Yeah.
But once you leave them go, there's way more stuff has to happen if you leave it go 2 or 3 years.
And generally speaking, what sort of things would you tend to find? Someone that's perhaps a cruising sailor, for example.
The ultraviolet strip.
Ah, yes.
So the ultraviolet strip might be gone, as in like it needs to be replaced, or it's just the stitching is gone. So generally, this UV strip here isn't that old. It's a few years old, but all it needs is for the UV strip to be restitched.
Okay. And something we were chatting earlier on, and you mentioned something about washing the sails.
Yeah, we do a laundry service every year. We send them away to Tip Top Sail Laundry in the UK, and they go away via courier in a cage that we have downstairs, and they go away like sort of mid-February, and they come back 2 weeks later with all the sails washed.
Fantastic, and then that makes it easier to do the repair, and the repair is more likely to stand firm.
Yeah, and the sails are lovely and clean. You can, like, rather than putting a cover over something that's green, you're putting a cover over something that's clean and white.
That's lovely. That's very nice indeed. Well, I'll let you carry on there. Don't want to disturb you too much. for letting us watch the creation of a McWilliam bag. This is Barry Hayes here of UK McWilliam Sales. And tell us a little bit about this machine here, please.
This is an XY cutter. It's normally we use it for cutting sails, windsocks and bags. But actually I just need to cut out some bags that are that are on order this morning. So we're just going to cut them out. This is like the first stage of the bag. So they get cut out and marked here, and then the components then get put together, and then the bag gets built basically when all the components are together. And the whole thing takes about 5 working days. A tote, which is behind you, is about maybe 3 to 4 working days, basically. And they get cut out on the same machine.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Let's watch her go.
This will be noisy now, I'm sorry to say.
Okay,
that's okay. 2, 3, 4. So the cloth is like a sail, the sail and a bag and anything, it'll be vacuumed down. There's tiny little holes in the table that vacuum down the cloth onto the table, so when the cutter is moving across it, it doesn't move. The cloth stays exactly where it is. That's why when we cut out a sail, like on a boat or anything, it's exactly accurate when we cut it out.
Fantastic.
So this is like the same component for a tote. This is the tote cut out,
Yeah.
which will then become this when it's finished.
Brilliant.
So the ends and everything will be sewn here, and that's where you see the cutting, the cutout on the side of the bag.
And are they sewn by hand, as in through the machine by hand?
Oh God, everything is done by hand.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything is done by hand. The whole process is done by hand, basically, for all the bags. Same for the sails. If we make sails here, we'll do everything by hand, basically.
Last year, was it? A new range of bags came out. The stripe was gone. Tell us about it.
So the new range of bags that we're doing now are basically made from sail material. And this is kind of, you can see, this is much more popular actually, this sailcloth one. This is a graphite tote. And then this is the charcoal tote, or the carbon basically is what we call it. Is a very hard-wearing, custom-made cloth that we get designed in Germany.
Now, talking of durability, I noticed behind you there, hanging on the end of the rail, you're wondering what I'm looking at. There's a bag there that looks very old and tired, but still lovely.
These
How
are
old do you reckon she is?
about 25 to 30 years, I would say this bag is. This is a classic. Some customers, because they love their bags so much, they always bring them back for repair, maybe every 10 years or so. So this one has literally come back for its 2nd zip in its lifetime. And as you can see, it's got odd ends in it, so it was a custom-made bag.
It's marvellous.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really old bag, that's for sure.
Owned by someone that's quite iconic in the area by any chance. We won't give you any names.
I'm not going to answer that question.
You recognise the name,
Yes.
better not. That's really lovely to see, marvellous.
Yeah. Fantastic. Beautiful. Later.